Greetings. All right, last time I had some anecdotes about basic training, chow hall, the pad, pigeon bombs were hilarious, jackrabbits. I really started to enjoy the pace of basic training, all the way up until we had the laundry fiasco. Now, we all had, you get institutionalized, and the way the military does it is we're all the same. It's NASCAR. We all have the same shirts, underwear, socks, shoes, pants, shirt, or BDU, blouse, jackets, hats, patches. So every Sunday we would do laundry. You would have a week's worth of laundry. And what you would do, you would stack your wall locker up with a week's worth of socks, week's worth of underwear, week's worth of undershirts, a week's worth of everything that you needed for that week. Sunday would come and you had laundry tags. A laundry tag was the first initial of your last name, and then the last 4 digits of your social security number. And you put that on every item you had. So your laundry tag was specific to you. No two being the same, you have 50 of those tags. All of our shirts went into one pile, all of our socks went into another pile, and you would have to spend most of Sunday sorting out the laundry. But we got it down to a science. That is until the laundry fiasco, where some of the tags started falling out and they became illegible. Now I'm presented, because we had a laundry crew. Just like we had a latrine queen, you have a laundry crew. They came up to me and they're like, "Chief, we got a problem. We have to get all this laundry sorted before tomorrow, and we can't read the tags." So I'm looking around the room at these piles of socks, underwear, t-shirts. I was like, okay, this is gonna be interesting. I said to myself, we're all here, the clothes are all clean, get in and get it. Guys looked at me all crazy. I'm like, you got another solution? If you can tell me what shirt is whose, great. But if you can't, you give me something else. They all looked at me funny. They're like, yeah, we're in here together. And it became a bonding thing. I got somebody's large undershirt, which I thought was absolutely insane. But to put it on quickly, nobody gave a damn. Tight as all hell and everything else like that, but wear it a couple of days, stretches out just fine. When under sweat and strain, stretches out just fine. Somebody else's underwear, he's like, oh my God, that's nasty. Is it? Is it? It's clean. Nobody cared. We're all filthy, we're all dirty. Okay, cool. We had to wear the same clothes for like 3 days one time, so who gives a damn? You were there as a bonding. It was as a group thing, and you stopped caring. I wasn't there to win any beauty contests or hygiene contests. Neither was anybody else. You learn quickly what you thought was important wasn't important. At that time, I believe we had cell phones, because that was I didn't have a cell phone, but some guys did. When we first got there, we put all of our possessions, which was that one bag I owned, into a closet in the back, and the TI locked it. You're there for 6 to 8 weeks. You forget about it. My cool shoes, my cool watch, my wallet, and all the other good stuff. Forgot about all that crap. I didn't really need it. What I needed was my comrades. Things became very apparent. So you start to understand that, you start to grasp the situation of camaraderie, building team. We would do everything. March to and from here, march to and from there. We got the ebb and flow pretty decent. I learned how to march and how to cover people in the marching, because some people could not march, so you don't want them to the outside, you want them toward the middle, so you would change up elements and columns, column and rows. So the row would be headed by, a column would be headed by an element leader. An element leader would be on top of that column. The column was, and then you would lead the element leaders, dispatching duties to the element leaders, and they would turn around and control their column. It was wonderful. It was a great thing. We all had duties. I marched in the back so I could keep an eye on everything that was in front of me and make sure that the guide, because you had a flight guide, he would carry the colors, the flight banner, and he would set the pace. And I could turn him left and right and everything else like that with simple commands, and we would do it all. It was a beautiful thing once we got it down. So you have to, in order to graduate, there's a test, but there's also the field training exercise. And this was our big thing. You get very motivated for the last field training exercise. And you get all your gear, a gun, helmet, everything else like that. And you start walking down with the TI is gonna be your guide. Then they leave you out in the middle of the Texas growth to be ambushed by OPFOR, which is opposing force, by other TIs. You know, you set up a base camp, you set up guard duties, et cetera, et cetera. So we had a sister flight. Every flight had a sister flight, or every 2 flights had a sister flight. It was 1-for-1 for us, so we were 50 guys, 50 girls. And it was terrible because on the FTX course, the sister flight went first. You give them 15, 20-minute head start, and then you go hard charging. And you're through the first obstacle, you're through the second obstacle, you're just doing it up. The one obstacle was a rope swing, and you had to swing across this pool. And I will never forget this as long as I live. The pool was 5 feet deep. A kid got recycled back into our flight who was hydrophobic. So he grabbed the rope for the first rope obstacle, which was it's a rope bridge. So it's a high rope and a low rope, 2 ropes in parallel, and you just shimmy across. He fell in, and you thought he was dying. I have to go over, get on the rope after I complete the obstacle, because that's the other thing. I was the leader. I was the last one to go, because I'm cheering everybody. I'm the first one at the obstacle. Have to cheer everybody on and make sure they get through. Then I have to bust my tail, get through the obstacle, and get to the next obstacle to do the same thing over and over again. But we came to this rope swing, which was like a Tarzan type thing from the movies. This kid swung on the rope. He was clear to get to the other side. He didn't let go like a moron. So now he became a bell and came back through. And the rope loses momentum, and he came back through again. And the rope loses momentum, and he came back through, so until he eventually just stopped. And he's screaming. And he lets go and falls in the water. It's 5 feet deep. He's 5'6". And he was, for all he knew, he was drowning. This was it, the end of his life. And the TI's yelling, stand up. Just stand up. Everybody is yelling at him, stand up. Just stand up. He looked like Gary Coleman, I'll never forget it. And you had a swimmer, active swimmer, a guy from your flight who was chosen to get in the water and pull the kid out. If something bad happened, you got a cramp or not, fell back and hit your head or something like that, this guy was gonna dive in. So the TI didn't have to get his uniform dirty. But the one thing you did not want to do was get your uniform wet, because your boots would get wet. If your boots got wet, now you're lugging around how many extra pounds of water weight, dead weight on your feet. Oh God, it was horrible. Then you have to go through sand traps and other obstacles with wet feet on logs, et cetera, et cetera. It was terrible. And the TI looked at this guy and said, go get him. And the swimmer looked at him and was like, you just gotta stand up. Like, go get him. So he has to jump in and pull this kid out. And we were all laughing so hard because his boots were wet. Well, apparently the RTI, the tradition was to get the dorm chief. And the TI swings the rope out. And she'll tell you when it's a good rope. Well, the rope was swinging for me. I'm like, oh yeah, I got this. There's no problem. Because again, I'm super athletic and super strong. I've been working out that whole time. This is the end of the of basic training. And she waited till that rope was hardly swinging, and she goes, "All right, good rope." And I'm like, "You bastard," because she wants to see me get wet. So I was like, "You bastard!" So I jumped with all my might. I grabbed the rope, and my fat ass momentum carried me straight across the thing. I let go, hollered out, Air Force, went round and on. She's just laughing at me. I'm laughing back at her. So it was just so funny to me. Toward the end, though, she would come through for the dorm inspections every day. And she'd be like, towel, this. And she's flipping over beds and yanking towels off the end and things like that. And she looked at me and she said, "Dorm chief, why is this like this?" And I'm like, "Ma'am," I looked her dead in the eye and I'm like, "It's week number 6. If we don't know how to do it by now, then we don't know how to do it." And she turned away and she was laughing. And it's just a thing where they just wanted to keep you attention to detail, fresh and everything else like that. They were building you the whole time. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. We got through the field training part of the exercise and we caught up to our sister flight. And it was a rope shimmy across the pool, another body of water. And the females had gotten wet from the previous other 2 water hazards. So they're rope shimmying, so you're just using your hands, you interlock your feet, and you're shimmying upside down through this rope. And it started binding up. So the female flight couldn't get through because they would get to the middle on the fatigue, upper body strength, plus the fact that they're wet, just killing them. So they're dropping like flies, which makes the rope go up and down, which makes the rope, everybody on the rope start undulating back and forth and everything else like that. So everybody starts dropping. And I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me." So we're cursing out our sister flight. It was hilarious. And then of course, I'm motivating everybody and I have to go last, and this girl just stopped in front of me. And I'm just hanging upside down. And I'm like, "Let go." Just fall. Who's gonna come save you? You gotta save yourself. Like, either you're gonna make it or you're not. But you're gonna make us all fall in if you don't go. So she finally lets go, which makes the whole rope, everybody in front of her, and then me start flipping out. My legs come off, my feet touch the water, my boots start getting heavy, and I'm like, "Oh no, I have enough upper body strength and core strength to get my feet back up," and I make it across. Then you have to go to your camp and you have to ford a river in Texas. So again, I'm the leader. TI jumped in, went across the river, hit a water moccasin with a stick, and then came out the other side. So as soon as I saw him get in, he's like, "Next." Jumped in. I'm carrying my gun, my rucksack on my back, helmet in hand, and you carry your gun over your head. And you get to the other side. There was a stump, and I put my boot on the stump, and I pulled myself up from the tree root, and thought nothing of it. Soaking wet, but thought nothing of it. We had stopped before the river crossing and had MREs. MREs have a heat activated element in them. When you pour water in it, it's a chemical reaction. It heats up the food. It acts like a little oven. This damn thing reactivated in our pants pockets because you don't have anywhere to put trash. So you put them in your BDU pocket, which is burning people's legs, but we don't know what to do. So smoke is billowing out people's legs. Meanwhile, I have to stop where I'm at and help people out of the river, because it's 150 people crossing the river now. Out, and there's one stump, one honest place that you could get a foothold, and everything is going well, but every person that comes up is drenched, making that whole riverfront completely soaked with mud, this brown, nasty mud. And then you can see the place to put your foothold and get a handhold and grab somebody's hand and pull them up. Well, here comes the sister flood. The first girl comes through, I take her gun, I grab the other hand, and I pull her up as hard as I possibly could. I'm thinking that her foot is gonna hit this foothold and she'll just come right up. It never does. I pull her straight up that muddy bank. The whole front of her is darker than I am. She was white as a ghost before she went in. She was dark. She looked like a mud monster. And she got up and she was like, oh. I'm like, keep going. Gave her a rifle back. I couldn't stop laughing. And it happened over and over and over again. I could not stop laughing. Meanwhile, my pocket is burning. And one of the other guys, he's like, Chief, what do we do? I'm like, there's no trash out here. We can't just throw it on the ground. So I'm like, ma'am, because the TIs caught up with us. I'm like, we got a situation with the MREs. She's like, you idiot, take it out of your damn pocket, it's burning. Stupid stuff like that. And we're all just sitting around, tired as could be, laughing at each other. I'll stop there because like it was one of the few times we had it on the FTX, the field training exercise. We had a chance to after we got out of that portion of it, to rest before we went on to setting up our base camp. And that's a whole nother story because that became, I'll go into that next time. I'll call it the last Boy Scout next time. So as always, be the reason my smiles today, and I'll see you next time.